Welcome back this morning, and it's time to talk football about the Gore Pirates. And we have Coach Brandon Tyler and his crew here to talk a little bit about the upcoming 2021 season. Coach, let's start with you a little bit. You're kind of in a nice position, I guess, if you will, where you have everyone back from last year's team that went to the third round of the playoffs. Talk a little bit about that, plus the idea that you've actually had a summer program and a spring program this year.
Now, but going back, we got 22 returning starters, 11 on offense, 11 defense. I got our kicker coming back. So, 2021, we're excited about it. Like I just mentioned earlier, being able to have a spring season, getting the 10 days in the spring, 7-on-7s, team camps, everything we missed out on last year. We feel like we're ahead of the game right now than what we were going into last season, obviously. But, we're excited about it. And like I said, it starts with these guys up here. They've had a great summer in the weight room. Our attendance was unbelievable. We have 30 guys on the roster, 31 on the roster, and we have had them there every day. So we're excited about that and looking forward to get started Monday.
I know one thing as you look at it, you guys are certainly going to be in the top 2 or 3 of the state when the polls come out as far as the rankings are concerned. But I think as a coach, one of the things you have to overcome is the complacency factor, saying, hey, we got everyone back, we can just go out there and throw the ball out. But I know in reading your notes, you've been in a position like this before, I think when you were at Vian, and I know that's one thing you've got to preach to these guys.
Exactly, and you can ask them, that's the first thing we talked about this summer, is don't be complacent, don't be happy where we're at right now. We still want to achieve a lot more than what we're just getting to the third round. We want to be playing in December, and that's our goal. And these guys are ready to go to work Monday and start working towards that goal. But I brought up that same scenario you talked about. 2013, we're in the semifinals with a bunch of juniors at 13-1, and come back the following year and go 8-4. So got to stay healthy, got to have a lot of luck along the way. But again, most importantly, is like you said, don't get complacent. Still got to work hard every day in practice, every day in the weight room, and because people in Warner and Colcord and Cashin and Pawhuska, they're doing the same. So, we got to continue to work hard as well.
You mentioned the injuries, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that to the guy on your left. Zane Craighead, who will return at the quarterbacking spot this year. And Zane, you kind of got thrown into the fire when Weston got hurt last year at the quarterback spot. You had to jump in and fill in, and you were right up to the task. Talk a little bit about last year.
Last year, coming to Gore, I knew that I was going to compete a little bit against Weston to get the start quarterback, and that he pushed me all summer long on being the player I was.
What's the most valuable thing you learned from him, do you think? We got after it quite a bit with each other, so probably hard work. We were constantly one-upping each other on every play, every rep. Talk a little bit about the season after you. How long did it take did you feel like they really get comfortable jumping into that quarterbacking spot?
Definitely the first couple games I was nervous, and everyone could tell it. Probably game 4, game 5, midway through the season, I got pretty comfortable.
Okay, I guess give the mic back to Coach Tyler here a second. We'll talk a little bit, switch over to the defensive side of things now, and talk a little bit about you got everyone back. What kind of changes, if any, would you anticipate on defense?
Probably none at all. Like I said, we're pretty solid all the way around. Like you mentioned, having everyone back, I don't know in 25 years of coaching that I've ever been a part of a team that's had this many returning starters. So, it makes our job a lot easier. We just got to continue to fine-tune a lot of little things on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we just got to continue to fly around and create turnovers. That's what we want to do. We created a lot of turnovers last year, either interception-wise or fumble recoveries. So again, just continue to create turnovers, set up our offense in a short field position there to go score and put some points on the board.
Talk a little bit about special teams and what you got back there.
Got our kicker back, Christian O'Connor, 5 for 5 on field goals last year, and like I told him earlier, it's probably my fault he didn't have more opportunities. I'm kind of a knucklehead sometimes, and think we've got to have 7 points all the time. But I feel pretty comfortable. We get inside the 30 that he's put some points on the board for us if we bog down and can't score a touchdown. So, we got him coming back. We got Dane coming back to punt. Jackson and Christian both share the kickoff duties there. So, special teams wise, we're pretty solid. Lost our deep snapper over the summer. He moved to Muldrow, so we got to try to find a new deep snapper. But other than that, we'll be pretty solid.
Well, a lot of coaches are spending this time of the year and going on into the summer workouts looking to fill holes. Maybe your biggest, if it's a problem, area of concern or looking at is trying to find some depth in your players. So if you do have injuries, you got players to replace.
Exactly. Our skill positions, we feel pretty comfortable. We're pretty deep, skill position-wise, receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs. It's just our offensive linemen that we got 6 that we feel, really comfortable with right now. But, worst case scenario, we got to start moving guys around from the, fullbacks down to guards and things like that. So hopefully we don't get in that situation. But again, early on in the year, when people are still not, in game shape, we're going to call on some guys to have to fill in those spots for us. I think we feel like we've got a great rotation on the defensive line to where we can help keep guys fresh on the offensive line. So that's going to help us out a little bit.
One of those guys back on the defense is Dane Perriman, and Dane, you're a guy that's, I guess, pretty much on the field all the time. You're on offense and defense. You're the punter. Talk a little bit about how you see this season shaping up.
Since freshman year, I've pretty much been on the field all the time. I've been punting and playing fullback and playing middle linebacker. But I'm really glad to get to come back this year, my junior year, to get to keep starting and keep making this team better.
Do you have any goals that you've set for yourself on either side of the ball this year that you'd like to get so many tackles or anything like that?
I'd like to get over 100 tackles this year, but I'd really like to lead the team a whole lot better on defense and offense, the best that I can do.
Do you have a player, or maybe I'll ask it this way, a role model? Either sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a coach, sometimes it's a pro or college player that you follow?
Coach Tyler's been really good to me ever since I came here, and I'm really glad that he's got to be my head coach, and he's been the best coach that I've had.
Okay, let's move on down to the end of the table here with Jackson Duke. Jackson is a junior. He's a running back, plays defensive back. Talk a little bit about your time at Gore and kind of how you see this season shaping up.
I've been at Gore ever since pre-K. I am the youngest in my class, and I get dogged about it all the time. Just fixing little things on defense.
What area would you think maybe you've improved the most in the last year?
Probably my defensive skills.
In what respect?
Just interceptions.
Do you have a number that you'd like to get this year as far as interceptions?
I'd like to get close to 10.
10, okay. All right, back to the other end of the table now, Noah Cooper, who's, I guess, one of the younger guys here. He's a sophomore. So, Noah, talk a little bit about your situation. You're listed as a quarterback, so I guess you've been kind of watching Zane as time goes by. Do you kind of you feel like maybe the same relationship with him that he did with Weston?
Absolutely, yeah.
How does he push you?
Just every day, it's talking about plays, practicing out on the field, just me and him, the wide receivers, just weekends. Yeah, we push each other every day.
Did you play last year?
Yes, sir.
So you're kind of used to the change of speeds from middle school to high school. You've had a year to get adjusted to that. What other things maybe did you want to improve on this year as you look to your sophomore season?
Defensive side, just more tackles. I'll be playing outside linebacker, so be covering more on the passing side of it. So maybe some interceptions would be nice.
Okay. Zane, let's go back to you and talk a little bit about things. On kind of a scary note, as we look at this table, you're the only senior on this team, which means that on this table, one of the only ones on the roster for that matter, which means that people are going to have to be looking at Gore for the next few years. Is there a highlighter for you? I'm sure this last year kind of had to be a highlight for you in terms of accomplishments. Is there anything else that you can kind of pinpoint in your years at Gore so far?
Oh, man, I love it at Gore. The first couple of days I was over there, they all accepted me right off the bat, and them all being juniors and me being able to lead them and some of them look up to me, and I think about it a lot and how this will be my last year with all of them.
Where'd you come from?
I came from Bayonne.
Bayonne, okay. So you're one of the few maybe that's not a native pirate, so to speak. Well, I guess you've got a couple of years there. So you feel like it's been a real accepting kind of atmosphere for you. Talk about anything that you would like to accomplish this year other than maybe getting to state, huh?
I'd love for us to all come a little bit closer as a team. Everybody coach everybody up on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
We have quite a few leaders.
Okay, go back to coach there and kind of finish this out. So as you get ready to go into fall practices here later this month, what are the one or two things that you'd really like to key on in getting your team ready?
Early on it's going to be conditioning, just making sure we're in shape. I've always talked to our guys and told them, I feel like the first 3 ball games can be won or lost on being, the team that's in better conditioning, better shape there. So just make sure we come back, these next couple of weeks and get our legs back underneath us running and being able to be in better shape than other teams. We get in the fourth quarter, we're not cramping up, especially early. Again, just continue to get better. Like these guys said, offense, defense, special teams, just continue to block and tackle and get better every day in practice. And like I said, let it carry over to Friday nights.
You guys are going to be odds-on favorite to take the district title. Talk a little bit about the district and who do you expect to have your main competition be?
It's just one game at a time, and I tell these guys all the time too, the ball's pointed on both ends. And, I gave them a great example when I was a freshman. In high school, we go to Haleyville, and we turn the ball over 10 times. We have over 500 yards of offense, and they have about 40 and get beat 14-13. So, every Friday night, you got to come prepared. But, Colcord, Warner, Central Salisaw, Porter, everybody in our district is very capable of beating anybody on any given night. So, you got to come prepared starting on Mondays to get prepared for your opponent on Fridays, and just go out there and let it all hang out and have fun.
Okay, guys, well, thanks a lot. Have a good season. You guys have everyone back, have high expectations, so best of luck to the Gore Pirates this coming season.